So the title of today's episode is Trump Falling Apart. That's not never Trumpism. That's not a contention, an affirmative statement that I am making today. But it is certainly an allusion to something that has been suggested by my next guest. And he is David Pakman of The David Pakman Show, joining us now on The Will Cain Show. What's up, David? Good to have you.
How are you? I am, it's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to exploring and engaging in dialogue during which we'll figure out, are you one of the good faith participants at foxnews.com?
Well, I'm excited to have you be my judge, jury, and executioner on my faith. But I'm excited more to have you here. We'll at times debate. We'll also explore, like you said. By the way, David, I don't know how familiar you are with me, but I think I've got a pretty strong track record of being someone who engages the opposite side in good faith, whether or not that's on ESPN or on Fox or wherever I have appeared in the past. And I have no intention of it being any different today here on the Will Cain Show. So, David, let's start with current events. Let's start with news. We'll find some disagreement, but we're also going to search for understanding as well. So Please. I was watching you recently, and you were talking specifically about Trump this past weekend at the NRA convention. If you're cool with this, what we'll do now is we'll play a clip from the David Pakman Show on YouTube, and it will include a clip of Donald Trump from the convention at the NRA.
Some calling it a terrifying cognitive moment.
Nation in the history of the world.
Even Mitch McConnell only froze a few seconds, and for people suggesting that Trump's teleprompter was glitching, regular Trump, when his teleprompter glitches, which of course you can see teleprompter there, Biden's bad for using a prompter, Obama was bad, Trump's using a teleprompter. For those who were suggesting it was glitching, normal Trump wouldn't do nothing for 35 seconds. He would rant about the teleprompter.
So now we're back live here on the Will Cain Show. For those of anyone listening on Apple or Spotify, the video shows Trump just kind of, I mean, he's not frozen like Mitch McConnell, but he's not speaking for 35 seconds. I say that, David, because Mitch McConnell stared into distance and literally froze. Trump just doesn't talk for 35 seconds. And your takeaway, based upon the headline of your video and kind of what you had to say there, is this is terrifying. And the contention seems to be, you know, in essence, he's falling apart. This is like what the right points out about Joe Biden.
Yeah, so later on in the clip, which you didn't play, I say very clearly, I'm not saying this is the same phenomenon as with Mitch McConnell. This may be more of a sort of reflecting Trump's total social disconnect from what's going on around him, and he may think that he's being deep and sort of connecting with the audience in some way by being completely silent for 35 seconds. It may be that Trump has gotten completely disconnected from sort of like society around him. It's something very strange and nothing that makes him look particularly with it. Now, I think this will be the real kind of test here. I'm willing here to stipulate that Joe Biden is not as sharp as he was 10 years ago. I've said it. If you look at the Paul Ryan debate where he ran circles around, I'm ready to stipulate that. I would have preferred someone else as the nominee. I'm wondering if you're ready to say the same about Trump compared to even 2 years ago and 4 and 10 and 12. If not, you may be in the cult, my friend.
Okay, well, you've set the terms of defining me. I reject the test on whether or not I will admit to some kind of like mental slippage from Trump compared to 10 years ago, which, by the way, in the abstract, yeah, I'm sure that to be the case. Any 77-year-old probably isn't the same guy that he was at 67 years old. But here's what I think is going on. First of all, let's deal with the technical parts of this particular clip. I don't know. I don't know if the teleprompter glitched. That's probably not my suspicion of what happened. My suspicion is what you're suggesting secondarily. I think that what happened there, and this is me guessing, right? But that music, and I'm going to admit, that's weird, like the whole music underneath when he's speaking. The music picks up, it's loud, and he senses some sort of dramatic moment and leans into that dramatic moment, which I will agree is kind of weird. But, I mean, I don't think it reflects some kind of social disconnect from Donald Trump. When you look at the way, we'll see if you can stipulate to this. He clearly connects with an audience in gathering, no matter what the truth is, we can both agree, really big audiences. When I say truth about the literal size, really big audiences at rallies. And I think that's probably what happened in that 35 seconds. He was overly dramatically leaning into whatever was going on with that music.
Yeah, being able to connect with an audience of 107,000 would be remarkable if such an audience existed at an event that really had 15,000 people. So when you say the truth of the audience size, probably a conversation for a different day. Here's my kind of view on this, because I'm not a mental health professional. I think your background is in law, so I think you aren't either. At this point, I've interviewed 4 different mental health professionals. They all agree Biden is slowing down. And when you understand the things that are tough for Biden, combined with his lifelong stutter, he very quickly corrects himself when he gets a fact wrong. He shows certain signs that they say are appropriate for an 80-plus-year-old guy. The scary thing about Trump, to the professionals, not to me, this is just what they say. When Trump confused Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi, he didn't realize I'm literally saying things that make no sense. He repeated it, in fact, and continued on. When he regularly says Hungary has a border with Russia, or Orban runs Turkey, or Obama's president, or I defeated Obama, or when he doesn't realize it. And that combined with what are called phonemic paraphasias, where he glitches and can't get a word out, and then white flags, like the infamous Saudi Arabia, and then he moves on to something else. That's concerning the mental health professionals I talk to, and I have to go by the professionals because I'm not one.
Because the professionals have a sterling track record over the last 5 years. No intellectual capture or groupthink within the professional class. But
well,
David, here's what I think's going
about
on.
The particular individuals. It's very easy to generically say, "Oh, the professionals." Demonstrate it about the specific people making the claims and bring something alternative forward. I'll give you one other example if I can.
Well, I don't know the specific. I mean, to be fair, you haven't cited anyone. You have cited also a generic
Dr. John Gartner,
professionals
Dr.
I've
Harry
talked
Siegel.
to. So
I mean, I can provide.
I can't
the list.
rebut them. Yeah, but I haven't seen what they had to say or don't know who they are, so I can't sit here and rebut their testimony to you on the David Pakman show. What I can say is I think this is, and I'm saying this, and this isn't, I don't want one of these slap fight stupid debates, and I don't think any of us are going to do that.
No.
But here's what I think's going on, David, and I'm going to be real with you, and you just tell me,
Please.
No, Will, I think you're wrong. That's not what I'm doing. I think you're creating a false equivalency. So I think what you're doing, and I'm not going to argue for Trump's perfection, but this is like you going 90 miles an hour in a 55 and trying to point out that I went 60. Yeah, okay, Trump has some failings, but they don't measure to the thing that you admitted, which is Joe Biden just this week said, that he was vice president during the pandemic. He didn't correct himself right after that, David. He said Obama sent him to Detroit to work with the mayor of Detroit during the pandemic because he was vice president. We're off by how many years are we off by? By like 7 or 8 in that situation. 6 years in that situation. But that's just one anecdote, and we could just go on. And I think that what you're doing is seeing your own vulnerability. And when I say that, your own, in that you're sort of arguing on behalf of Biden and I'm sort of arguing on behalf of Trump in this pseudo debate. You're sensing your own vulnerability and trying to, offer up some equivalency, which is just totally off. Trump may be going 60 and 55, but Biden is veering off into the ditch at 120.
Okay, I think I understand your perspective. I do, like you said, I do totally disagree with you. And I think the greatest example of this is the following. All of the predictions about Biden's decline fail to materialize, and he does fine. I'll give you some examples. 2020 primary. He's going to debate Bernie. He won't be able to speak. He won't know it's a debate. He'll soil his diaper. He does fine. Okay, now the 2020 debate against Trump is coming up. He won't even be able to stand. He'll be facing backwards. He'll fall down. It's absolutely fine. He ends up winning the election. Okay, State of the Union's coming up. He can't possibly deliver a 100-minute speech. He does it, and it goes so well that now they've switched to, it's so good he must be on drugs, yet they can't cite the drug that would achieve what it is that they claim is being achieved. To counter that, Will.
Well, can I just ask you on that, David? I can't prove that, right? But I know you did this on your show recently, and you can you really dismiss that as absurd, though? I mean, I can't prove it.
What are you talking about right now?
You're bringing up, oh my God, he's done so good that he's on performance-enhancing drugs of some kind. He's shot up with something.
It's all over your network. Have
Obviously,
you seen the morning show on Fox News?
I host the morning show, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Now, my co-host said it this past weekend on Fox and Friends. What I'm telling you is it's not an absurd...
He's juicing, but he's taking injections, Byron Donalds.
Hold on, David. I'm not debating you on that. I know
you're
that's
agreeing
being said.
Okay, good.
What I'm asking... Yeah, I'm not... I know that it's being said. What I'm saying to you is... It's not absurd to say it. I don't say it because I can't have proof in it. But every single one of us watching, including not just the right and Republicans, wonder, how is it one guy one way, and in these big moments, these big stages like you talk about, a different guy a different way? And I don't think it's this like absurd leap to go, whoa, Provigil, Adderall, I don't know, whatever. But he's on something that's amping him up because he's a different dude.
Let's talk about Adderall and Provigil. Now we're in substance. Now we're getting into it, right, Will? Adderall and Ritalin, they work 4 to 6 hours. The idea that Byron Donalds presented on your channel, that by the end of a 1-hour speech he's fading, not how Adderall and Ritalin work. And Adderall and Ritalin famously don't cover up cognitive decline, and when there is cognitive decline, can generate anxiety and more difficulty speaking. So Adderall, Ritalin wouldn't do what you're saying.
So you're saying there's no drug that could be serving as a performance enhancer for Joe Biden in these situations.
You're jumping ahead. Let me get through it. So Adderall and Ritalin wouldn't do what you're suggesting. Provigil has a 12 to 15-hour duration. So again, like Byron Donald goes, you can tell because it wears off at the end of an hour. It doesn't work that way. And also Provigil's effect on dementia is 0. So now let me turn it around to you. You tell me the drug. It's weird to say, I think there might be a drug. David, tell me which one it is. You tell me what drug would do what you're suggesting.
To be fair, okay, you've done two things there, okay, and we're shifting burdens of proof. But my burden of proof is not...
You asserted drugs, and I'm asking you what drugs.
I did not. Hold on, walk with me here. First, the Byron Donalds argument is a straw man with me because you specifically rebutted that it wears off. I never said that, and I don't think that undercuts or rebuts the idea that he could be on some type of performance enhancer. I also didn't make the affirmative statement that he is on performance enhancers. What I said to you is, you have contended that's absurd. Look at the guy. This is evidence of his cognitive abilities that he can rally for these big moments. What I'm telling you is my co-host or anybody else that says, or somebody sitting at the backyard barbecue says, he's injected on all kinds of things to amp him up for the debate is not an absurd supposition. I don't have to prove the affirmative on it. I just have to tell you, you rejecting it is the burden of proof. You can't reject, and I think you have a hard hill to climb to say, there's no way he's on anything like that.
In order to say it's not an absurd suggestion, you have to at least plausibly bring a specific substance known to man that would do what is being alleged, which is it would take someone suffering from cognitive decline who struggles to even understand what he's saying and make them coherent in the way that it is being described. So the burden of proof is on those who say it's plausible to say, here's the list of drugs that could do it. And even here's one other thing before you jump in. I wouldn't expect you to come up with the right drug because yesterday morning, Dr. Ronnie Jackson on Fox News couldn't even propose what drug would do it. If the pill guy from Air Force One can't suggest it, I know you're not going to be able to.
Well, and okay, to be fair, also, just because I'm into the logic of these debates, you rebutted Adderall based upon the premise of Byron Donald's statement that it wears off. That's
only one element.
Additive to the contention that is only by one man, Byron Donald, that it wears off. It doesn't undercut the idea.
Forget about Byron. It also does not hide dementia symptoms, and it can make folks with dementia more agitated and anxious, which would be very bad for Biden's speeches.
Once again, though, David, you're using specifics, and I appreciate your use of specifics on certain things, but you've put into
I'm using specifics.
But but you're planting the debate. You keep planting my position.
But then give me the drug.
I can't diagnose
Adderall. You mentioned Adderall.
No. You're building assumptions on top of one another with me. For example, I haven't made the contention that he has dementia because I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose him. But I can also look at him as a common sense human being and go, something's not right with Joe Biden, whatever it is. Then you use my assumption that I said dementia or whatever else it is, and
you said
and then
Adderall
use that as a way to say there's no performance enhancer that could solve these specific things that you made as part of the assumption.
Here's what I think, Will. I think the Biden cognitive decline story is a loser for the right, and this conversation is proving it. I'm willing to leave it there.
Okay, I disagree because I'll tell you this. We're talking about the average independent out there. I actually think it's one of the most important voting factors for the average independent. That they see what's going on with Joe Biden, and they sense a lack of competency. I don't mean in just intellectual failings. I mean age-related decline.
Why isn't it showing up in any
on.
poll that is a major concern for independent voters?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Sure.
By the way,
maybe it's not.
Well, I mean, maybe it is.